Whether we want it or not, we've stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars. So let's get into taking out their command one by one. Follow us to Ark. For what I can gather, scanners from an Imperial land tech just outside the Rubicon. He's well protected with the right team. We can punch through those defenses, take this beast out, and break their grip on the Freehold.
X?
Yeah.
Your Zavala is very disappointing.
Thanks, man. I tried. I was just concentrating really hard.
Hey, can we talk for a second about the fact that like a really dark game, or like relatively dark game, darkness, had the cheesiest, most positive themes.
Dude, I love the Paul McCartney song. It's great.
If you're listening live, you might understand what we're talking about, but if it's the recorded version going up on the TTV channel, you'll have no clue.
Well, okay,
unless we manage to sneak it in.
No.
Let's do a proper intro.
Right. Let's do.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us tonight, and welcome to the TTV Podcast 301, our review of Destiny 2 Forsaken. I'm Meso.
I'm Eljay. X and Kini.
Okay, I'm. We've already messed up.
Oh wow.
I'm X Trooper.
There you go.
Kini.
And hey, everybody, how you doing?
I always used to that I'm last. So I was just like, oh, okay.
See, here's the thing with that, is that I'm last. There can be nobody after me because I'm the lastest.
But
That's what happens when you leave every 6 months for 6 months.
But I have been more last in podcasts than you've ever been.
I'm pretty sure you've been in more episodes than I've ever been. So
what counts as being more last? Being last more often, or being on like less often?
Both.
Like, which is worse? That's
None of them. It's about highest
thereof.
KD, man.
And it just occurred to me, like for whatever reason, I didn't have the right music in the right file, so that's the completely wrong music. That's our old music.
It's all right, nostalgia.
I was amused.
Okay, fine. Well, I mean, it's kind of nostalgic for a couple of reasons as well, because we also started this live recording with a song that we have no copyright to, which is something we would often do in, like, IBZP. And we have Kini here, so...
Oh yeah, Mardi Gras. Just for the folks at home.
Wow. You
Nice.
just ruined this. Nope, I'm done. See you later. This is
I
nice
ruined
coming
nothing.
on the episode. We were so close.
Nice.
We're
Either
not doing
way.
a sync. I don't know. Do we need to sync, guys?
No, we do not need to
Sync.
We did
No
the
one
last
forgets.
sync last episode, which is perfect. It was brilliant.
The last.
The last city and the last sink.
You mean the last sync in the last city?
Yeah, that.
The last bathroom of the last city gets the last sink.
Okay.
So
we're done.
anyway, today we're going to be doing a bit of an irregular podcast. This podcast will not have anything to do whatsoever with Lego Bionicle or even just random stories from our lives. Today we're going to be talking about a centralized topic, a topic many of you might not care about, so feel free to leave if you don't. But if you, by any chance, play the video game Destiny, you might be in for a treat, because we're going to spend the next probably hour talking about the latest Destiny 2
Hours.
DLC, Forsaken, hopefully just an hour. Talking about Forsaken, the latest Destiny 2 DLC, our thoughts on everything from the story to the pulse rifle crucible metagame, and our opinions on the state of the franchise in general, rather.
What makes you say pulse rifle metagame?
Because you were talking to me about bygones beforehand, and that's like fresh in
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, but 4% of all players in PvP are using Ace of Spades because it's the best thing in PvP.
There you go.
It's the best pulse rifle. It's not the best weapon.
That's X-Trooper.
I just
There you
realized the problems of doing this episode is the fact that the two people who love the meta the most are the kind of people that I hate the most.
Oh my gosh.
What, people who don't voluntarily handicap themselves in a competitive environment?
This is everything you
No.
would hope for, Meso.
Y'all can't literally. Apprentice Meso loves meta more than Haley.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that's true.
Let's go
That
through
is
it all. It's
true though.
that is not true at
It
all.
was-
It's about
I don't know who Haley is.
It's about
Sorry.
it's about equal. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry. No.
Meso loves Meta more than Meso's girlfriend Haley.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Hey,
His girlfriend
No.
Meta.
Haley, you never stood a chance. Sorry.
Look,
Me-
Meso
if-
loves
if the
the
meta were
to
a
the point that
person-
the word has lost meaning.
If the meta were a person,
Is that a
Meso
bad
would
thing?
marry it as many times as is legally possible.
You know how there's you know how it's like, oh yeah, we're renewing our vows after 15 years and having another wedding and it's so romantic. Meso would do that every 6 months.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
basically. So, sorry.
But when you say,
No, you're good. You're good. I was gonna say something stupid. Continue.
Okay. When you say meta, do you mean like in games in general or just Destiny? Like what?
Oh, games in general.
I
Games
mean
in general.
Meta in general.
Yeah.
It all
that's
started with
good.
it all started with Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
all
Is this a negative
spiraled.
thing?
Yes,
in
this
their
is a
mind,
negative
it
thing.
is. But X.
Why
It's
is
a
it-
joke.
Kini-
It's a joke because Meso will sacrifice fun for the sake of the meta.
You're not wrong
It has
there.
happened before. Meso will literally sacrifice his time, his life, and just fun in general in order to
and the
become
fun of others.
the best at the
But-
meta, which
but-
is bad.
It's
But
great.
Kini, Destiny is a game of linear progression, which you get more
Linear-
powerful.
Did you just say it linear progression? Because
Linear? How's
Linear.
your English, Kini?
Linear.
How's your second language? How's your
linear.
second language that you have learned from the bottom up years of your life since first grade until this day? How good is the second language that you speak?
Which one?
Which one?
The one that's not English.
¿Cómo está, señor?
Oh, you just speak Spanish. Alright, let's stop there.
Oh
All right.
my goodness.
X and I are kindred spirits when it comes to the
Yeah,
meta.
like if you want to get more powerful in a game, you do it by using the most powerful things to get even more powerful things. You
Look,
know,
I'm not denying that the meta is a thing. I will play to the meta. Obviously, you have to. I just always give Meso problems
It's a thing
because
between us.
because then what's left? Because you've now driven everyone away. There's no one left to play with.
Aw. I think I'm back
I don't
to
know,
my
man.
corner
If
for that.
someone sat next to me doing DPS on Callus, but they used a fusion rifle, I'd just be like, "You're out. I'm sorry. This is not.
I
This
feel
is
like
not gonna."
It's
But
not
what-
me. It's
You-
you. Only you.
Yeah, it's your entire loadout and everything you represent. You know?
But
It's just
but
like-
what about what about linear fusion rifles back when they were Lego 2?
Lego 2?
Lego 2?
The sequel to Lego?
Yeah.
They were Lego?
Dude, I love Lego 2. It's my favorite thing next to Minecraft too.
Are you saying as they were go-to?
Yes.
They weren't
Lay.
ever go-to. All of them do less DPS than sniper rifles.
I got my second seed of light!
Are you playing right now, Meso?
Of course
Yes!
he is.
Why? This is a podcast. We're
Because he-
professionals.
I've been grinding level 2 blind well to the play barrage glitch that you showed me with the exotic gauntlets to spawn zones in Crucible.
Oh, so now you can farm?
Now I can farm. Now continue.
Now you can farm. You have won the game until they nerf it.
I have won the game. Destiny
but
is
no,
over.
no, Kini,
Oh,
linear, whatever you want to call them, they've never been meta ever. There's never been a reason to use them in Destiny 2,
But Sleeper Simulator.
except for Sleeper. But it's an exotic.
Still
Fair enough.
counts.
It doesn't count though. You just said that they were good, but they're not, statistically speaking.
Alright.
I do remember a point though when it was make sure you have it for Laraid because everyone is melting to them.
Yeah,
It may have been D1 times, but hey.
it might have been.
Linear
Listen,
fusion rifles didn't exist as a whole class in Destiny.
Okay, listen. As funny as this is, let's refocus. I do take the meta too far, but the meta is a good thing. I respect both of your outlooks, and I'm not offended. No.
I just don't
Well,
want to
why
be.
am I still here then? If you're not offended, why am I here?
Because you
Because
have
that
other
was the
things in life
entire
to
point.
contribute than to offend your good buddy Opal Meso.
Okay. Whatever you say.
That hurts.
A little background for those who might casually be listening to this and not be into Destiny, because there is a chance. Destiny has been a troubled franchise since 2014.
That's enough.
Putting it lightly.
Loved by many, hated also by many for a
By
myriad
more.
of by more. For a myriad of flaws, or perceived flaws, like overly grindy gameplay, RNG dependency, a cheesy, terrible story, a lack of gameplay depth, a bootleg MMO that doesn't have things you would normally
Man,
associate with an MMO.
this game sounds fun, man.
But over the last, I'd say, 3 years, it established an identity and a following for itself. It carved out a very solid and large niche in the gaming market where people appreciated it for its own merits, and the game slowly built its way up through Destiny 1 to be something that, the old saying, everything was going well until it was a very over-casualized game. Bionicle fans in the audience, it was the G2 of the Destiny fandom. It
That's
launched,
a very good comparison.
it streamlined everything to such a point where there was very little depth anymore. People like X, who play for the statistic metagame, essentially had very little to do.
Yep.
And it was generally a very hollow experience. So we've been following with rapt attention over the last year to see how Bungie could bring back the franchise. And then Forsaken, before that, 2 mediocre DLCs came out that really didn't do anything. But then Forsaken has come out, the latest big expansion, $40. Has it redeemed the franchise?
I
think it is
The franchise, I don't know.
Maybe redeem is a bad word.
Yes.
Has it restored faith in the franchise?
I don't know. You will still have a very dedicated player base with Destiny, but there's a person. Let's call him Timmy. He saw the trailer for Destiny. He was really hyped about it, and then Destiny 1 Vanilla came out. He played a couple missions, thought it was terrible, and ever since that day, that was 2014, he has gone on every single YouTube video that has ever been posted by Bungie, and then he's said the comment, Destiny? More like Dead-stiny. And he still thinks it's funny. And there's 1,000 of those people.
You're not wrong there.
100,000. They're still out there. They're still
Destiny,
doing it.
more like dead to me.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
they're still gonna be there, and there's still people that have just made up their mind, and it's never gonna change. But those people don't matter. It's Activision, still gonna make enough money to make a new one. So,
Well, like the fact of the matter is the people that don't want to play it don't matter. It's the people like us that do play it and do actually enjoy playing it. A Destiny 1 vanilla to Destiny 2 vanilla, it was an incredible improvement.
Yeah.
However, the live team put out The Taken King and to a certain extent Rise of Iron, which were great. And then you go to Destiny 2 and it's 300 steps backwards.
Oh yeah.
yep.
That's essentially what we were looking at. But I think I used the wrong word when I was like, has it redeemed the franchise? Because even if Forsaken was great, it wouldn't automatically make Curse of Osiris, awesome, or any of the stuff that happened in Base D2. Has it restored fate, I would say. And for me, the answer is a resounding, unequivocal yes in all capitals with a space in between each letter. That is my... Forsaken is essentially... I described it as this when the first trailers came out. It's essentially a checklist of how to save this franchise 101. And you just go down the checklist and you mark everyone off in succession from simple to complex. And I was very skeptical they would actually pull it off because that sounded like a
Pipe dream.
a long list. Pipe dream, but they
They
have
did
done it. There is not a single thing that they dropped the ball on besides glitches and balance patches, which is with every game. That's not a Destiny problem. Nothing launches perfect. Now, there are a few things that aren't, masterfully executed. I know, Kini, one of your big things that I guess we could go ahead and talk about first is the story. I know you have a little quibble with Mr. Ghost.
Yeah, so I love Forsaken's story. It's great.
It is fantastic.
What I don't love is that it turned the Ghost, who I already was starting to hate, slowly over time, because I could just imagine myself having to spend every waking moment of my life with like that in my ear. But the fact that he got all moralizing and we need to be doing this for the right reasons out of nowhere made me cry inside. It was annoying, and I just wanted to kill bad guys that killed my favorite character.
Well, you fell into the revenge trap now, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, because...
You ain't a good guardian.
Look, the way I see it, you can't moralize hunting down escaped prisoners that killed one of the multiple wardens and all of the prison guards. Doesn't work like that. They murdered a bunch of people on their way out. It just so happens one of them happened to be a friend of ours. We would have been hunting them down even if they didn't kill Cade. Why? Because we've done it before. It was the subject of an entire other expansion.
What, House of Wolves?
Yeah.
I mean, you forget the one big thing about that is that we freaking jailed Skolas.
Yeah.
At the end.
But then we killed him. No, we jailed Skolas at the end, gave him back to Varix, and then Varix sent us into the house, or the prison of elders, to kill Skolas. So, yeah, okay, we didn't kill him because he broke out of prison, but then the warden went, I'll give you sweet loot if you kill him, and we killed him. How is that any better?
Yeah,
How is that any better?
It's a fair point. I was not bothered by preachy ghost guy. I just kind of felt like it was their way of doing a theme by grappling with the questions of morality.
I felt like all of Preachy McGhost's lines were meant for Zavala.
Huh.
So, Kini, have you gotten the thin line hand cannon in the game?
No.
I've read him the lore card, I think.
Yeah, like the thin line hand cannon has some interesting lore on it, which it just shows you a list of the ghost. There's a list of what the ghost wishes that he could say to you. And
I haven't
it's
actually seen this. So
yeah, but he actually makes he makes a bunch of references to like what you're going through in the campaign, because basically everything happening throughout the campaign, you have to look at it through the perspective of the ghosts as well as the Vanguard from the last city. They're doing that to protect humanity, and every threat and everything that you fought throughout Destiny has been to protect that. You've been doing stuff for the higher ups and protecting. It's something bigger than yourself, basically, all the time. But
this is the first mission for yourself.
Yeah, these Barrens, this Tangled Shore, this prison break, that's not a threat to you. That's a bunch of stuff happening in our space with bad guys. Like as much as the Queen's Guard and as much as Barracks, as well as the other people that take care of the prison, they're completely unrelated to the Vanguard and the Guardians and the protectors of the city. Like it won't affect them. And this is like the first time that you're going on a journey not for something that like higher up and like something for justice, and you're doing this for revenge. You're doing this for vengeance. And like your ghost feels that. Your ghost feels that as your guardian, and he is incredibly concerned about you as your well-being, because it's kind of like the whole Star Wars thing, I guess, with the whole that you're slowly turning yourself to the darkness, and that's what they're hinting throughout this entire
I'm well aware that they're playing with the idea of us going dark, quote unquote.
Yeah,
I'm aware of how they're doing it, and I'm aware of why they're doing it. I just don't like the way they went about it with Ghost, because it comes so out of the blue, so completely.
But he can feel the darkness. That's the point, and he's very concerned. That's why he's saying that he thinks he is
out of the blue, because our Ghost has so far never bothered to even question what we're doing or why we're doing
because
it.
We've been doing it for good and not for revenge.
Has
it
been though? Is that the strictly speaking good? Because once again, I state, we jailed Skolas to stop him from uniting all of the fallen houses,
which would be a threat to humanity.
Which happened anyways, by the way.
And we took
And
a
yes,
stop to it.
that would be a threat to
justice.
humanity. We stopped it, quote unquote, for justice. Yeah, okay, so we ruined an entire civilization's chances of actually coming back in any way after the Traveler abandoned them because they might attack us again.
For justice,
Cool.
because
Okay.
they're aliens
Yes.
that are ugly.
I will
That's why
give
it's
you,
okay.
I will grant you that one simple piece, and then
This
raise
isn't
you
me.
the
This
fact.
is the lore talking. This is me being correct in my statements. My
Yeah,
opinion
uh-huh.
is completely
Oh my
unrelated.
God.
Once again, I give you that, and I raise
You can't give me
Then
anything because there's
why
nothing you can
did
give.
we go and kill Stolas in the Prison of Elders? We literally only did that because Varix told us, I'll give you cool loot. There's no story reason to go back into the Prison of Elders and kill the guy that we jailed again.
Have you ever done the
Because
strike
the
where you
warden-
fight, like you know the strike in Destiny 1 where you go on the moon and you fight like a fallen guy and he's just like he
I'm aware.
that's
yes,
the
Tanix.
that's the ways
Tanix, the one that
ways
Tanix,
of
the one that
old.
killed Tanix, the
It's
guy
the
that
ways
killed the
of
Vanguard
old.
before Cade.
Are you familiar with this concept? Are you familiar with the ways of old in Elixir lore? As in the Fallen.
Meso, you were right about this
Vaguely.
episode.
Alright.
That doesn't change the fact that you cannot start moralizing somebody's actions out
You
of
can
the
if
blue
it's
like that.
aliens. Because they're not humans.
Oh my
That's
gosh!
not how that works. If you're trying,
In the
if you're-
Destiny universe
okay,
it does.
if you're trying to humanize the bad guys by
I'm not
moralizing
humanizing. This
yourself,
is-
no, I'm not saying
This is
you.
the
oh
Destiny
my God.
universe.
Yes, and that's the problem. They're trying to make it so that we feel bad about what we're doing or question why we're doing it because the bad guys are aliens. But in doing that,
Oh,
they're
no,
trying
we
to
don't.
humanize the bad guys.
It's the ghost that is concerned that we don't feel that
X. When I say
What?
we, they, I mean Bungie, the guys writing the game. Okay, they're trying to moralize things. They, being
way. I think
Bungie,
they're just trying to
are
sell a
trying
game
to
for
moralize.
profit. I don't think they have this huge agenda conspiracy that you have going on.
Kini, come on.
You wanted this, Messina. You wanted this.
I like you,
Okay.
Kini. You're
Alright,
fun to
that's,
discuss things with.
I'm wiping my hands of this because we're not actually discussing.
All right.
We're not?
No, we're not.
What is it called,
so move
then?
on. Seriously,
Is it debate?
moving
Is
on.
that the right word?
No, because we're not debating
My
either.
English is
Because
not
you're.
my first language, so I just
I'm
wanna
aware.
know.
We're not
Okay.
debating and we're not discussing because you're not letting me say anything because of reasons. So let's move on.
Oh
You
man.
want to speak now, then?
No, let's
Okay.
move on.
I
For the love of God,
Kini, it's all good. man.
Tyler. Let's move
Wait,
on.
is that allowed?
It's not allowed. Okay, so the ghost's preachy morality and like Alinsky lore aside, the actual story, I must say, was very, very good. What I really like about Forsaken, I think the thing that after like 2 weeks I most like about it, as I've reflected, is that it's basically what Halo 5 did, except done correctly. Because Halo 5
Played Halo 5.
Halo 5 was infamous for its marketing campaign that was basically full of lies. It marketed the game on a premise. The actual game was nothing at all like the premise that they marketed. It was
Was Luke
basically...
Cage in it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, that was cool.
It was very cool. The game was basically like Master Chief goes rogue and he's doing some sketchy stuff and he must be hunted down by Luke Cage, this new character. The actual game was nothing like that. It involved a bunch of like mysterious Forerunner technology and Cortana being like a villain and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Spoilers!
It's been up for years. The
I
thing
haven't
with
played
Forsaken is the actual game about Cade's death and the Baron hunts is in the game. It is not false advertising. They not only do it, but they do it very well. but then the game completely swerves in like a completely different direction. And it's done so well because it doesn't come out of like nowhere. The swerve is telegraphed. The swerve is led into. The turn radius is big, and it's actually satisfying. All the post-game content in the Dreaming City about the Taken and about Savathun and about Riven, and why Uldren was doing what he's doing. It flows together so well, and it's vastly different tones that I honestly can't believe it doesn't feel super disjointed.
The story, there's a story and continues after the raid as well, and we've never had anything even close to that, which is crazy. I really, that is
the
cool.
closest thing was in King's Fall, where it was really cool how everything kind of built up to killing Oryx, and then the post game built up to killing him in his throne world. But then it stopped after the raid. This game continues after the raid. And it's awesome. And then throughout all of this, all this is going on, we still have side plots dealt out through lore cards, which are in the game now, by the way. Celebrate good times. Yay. Come on. That continue this theme of morality. Whether you agree or not that the ghost bit was well handled, the themes are continued through characters like the Drifter and the backstory behind Gambit and what Gambit is and what it's for, and the whole tale of Shin Malfur and Dredgen Yor, which is being hinted at very heavily to have some relevance.
I love the story behind Gambit, and so many people don't know how dark it is.
Waiting for Shin to be the new Vanguard.
It's quite possible.
I would love that.
That wouldn't surprise me at all, actually, with how things are going. So basically, in short, the reason I think Forsaken works so well is because past Destiny games have struggled to tell one story, and this game tells two. I think that's really why, succinctly.
Well,
yeah.
What it comes down to is the fact that one story effortlessly goes into the next, because even though it's like part 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to the end game and it's just a continuation. Like, it does directly continue. You go, oh, there's another big bad. There's a real big bad that we've been leading up to, and now we have to stop them. But
Spoilers,
it
by the way.
does it so simply that...
I have spoilers in the title, don't worry.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And it's awesome because they were teasing Savathun even back in D2's base.
They were teasing Savathun back in D1.
Fair enough.
The big thing for me is the fact that they managed to make it so that it's an actual expansion for once. And like, I'm in a weird position because I never got Curse of Osiris or Warmind before Forsaken. I got them all at the same time. I got them all at the same time, so I actually have an appreciation for both in the sense that like there's a ton of stuff for me to do, and so far I'm enjoying it. But I totally know how terrible it would have been to just have those. Because that would be totally terrible. But, I can enjoy everything that's there. And for once, Bungie has actually almost gone back to what they said they would do initially, which was, oh, it's going to be this living world, and people are going to come and go, and there's going to be events, and stuff's going to change, and this and that.
It feels like that.
And they tried that for exactly 1 week before they gave up on it. Shout out to all the people like me who still have their Queen's Wrath armor in D1.
Ah.
You still have your Supremacy?
Yeah.
Nice.
But you have all this stuff that they were going to try and do ages ago, and they finally are acting like they're actually going to do it. Instead of... Basically, it used to be Destiny was treated like a shooter with MMO aspects to it. But the MMO aspects that they stole were all of the okay things, and they missed all the important things that you need for either type of game, which in the case of a shooter is, I don't know, an actual story to get people invested in outside of just grinding gear. I know the gear grind is real for some people, but it's never been something that I care for. And they took all of the gear grindy stuff from MMOs and then ruined it by ruining it consistently.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. And they've finally stopped doing that.
So you didn't like the grindiness to the end game, as in like getting random roll weapons and armor and all that.
I don't
You
mind
didn't
the. I
enjoy
don't
that?
mind the. I don't mind that, Sammy.
Oh,
We're
no.
talking about Bungie. We're talking about Bungie here.
What
So
are
when
we
I
talking
say
about?
Who's
story
Sammy?
in a shooter in the chat, when I
Oh.
talk about a shooter, I'm thinking Halo. Even Battlefield used to be story driven.
Well, most shooters have a story component. It's just about how integral it is to the game. And
It's
Halo
also-
and Bungie were definitely up there.
It's also different when you look at it from the perspective of 90% of Destiny is not actually shooting in the sense of I'm going in multiplayer matches against people. That kind of shooter doesn't need story, but when you're sitting there and going, it's an experience.
It's
from
more
your-
than just a game.
It's more than a game. It's a social experience. You can play with your friends and you can enjoy and you can get invested in this. And we're building this sprawling world for you to enjoy and explore. Then you have to actually deliver on that. Because if all you do is make some cool looking set pieces and throw people in there and say, go kill the same enemies over and 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 over again ad infinitum, because even the enemy variation wasn't that great and still isn't. So shout out to the Scorn for finally giving us some variation.
Scorn are so good. I love them so much.
Scorn are basically just collectors from Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, man.
You're not wrong, and I
You're not
freaking
wrong
love
at
them.
all.
The
Yeah,
abominations
right?
are literally scions.
Right? It's crazy.
It's great. But
but-
you know,
but
they
Kini,
actually are trying to do things the right way for once.
I'm curious, Kini, about this like one thing. Like, is
Okay.
the Greek ride and everything was basically non-existent for like light level and stuff in the beginning of Destiny 2 vanilla, because you could just basically do anything and you just eventually got to max light level. Were you a fan of that, or was it just that everything around it was underwhelming?
It was everything around it was underwhelming.
Okay.
I love the new system where you can do basically anything and eventually raise your light. I don't need to be max light right off the bat. Like, there's a lot of people complaining about how they can't access the raid yet. Well, the raid released a week after the DLC came out, and the raid is designed to be the very last thing that you do. It is the ultimate thing that you do. So if you're sitting here going, oh my god, this game that I bought that they want me to play for the next, ideally, 3 months at least, comes out and I want to get everything done in a week, you're doing it wrong. So I enjoy that you can do a whole lot of stuff and raise your light level and eventually get to max. The problem is the fact that I don't really care for gear grinding in general. Like, I used to play Diablo, but because there was actually like variation in what you got, you weren't getting the same gun a million times. Edge transit. You actually had interesting like stuff to get, and some was trash and some was great, and sometimes you had to decide whether you were actually picking one over the other, what weapon you were going to choose, because you got this awesome new one, but it ruins half of your stuff and makes the other half greater. Like, that's the kind of stuff I enjoyed. I don't like grinding for gear that changes things so imperceptibly it's not even funny.
Dude, a Bygones without arrowhead break has complete recoil all over the screen. Arrowhead, it's complete vertical. That is a night and day difference in PvP.
See, but that's one gun.
That's one gun. I can give you 5,322 more examples if you want.
That is
Whoa.
you don't need to do that, but here's the difference. I'm going to guess 90% of those examples are statistical examples, right? Like, yeah, having recoil all over the place is going to be something that is super obvious. But most of those are going to be like, oh, you deal X percentage points more damage with these perks as opposed to these. That's the kind of stuff that people like you and Meso, who are really into the meta and are really into making sure everything is optimized and they do as much as they want, as opposed to people like me who have a certain type of loadout they like, and I want to be able to use the guns that I like the way I like, not just worry about damage values. That's the thing for me, is if I get a gun and I have two options, and one has no recoil and one has some, I'm going to take the one with no recoil, obviously. It becomes a different thing when one is, one bullet more than the other, or random tiny little stat changes. That's the thing I don't enjoy, because the stat changes in a lot of cases are so minimal. It's the perks that change, which are what's important.
Yeah, the OG Masterworks back in like Curse of
Yeah.
It's very, very minor.
Like, I don't like grinding for days and hours and getting the same thing over and over again. Even if the perks are slightly different, it ends up being the same thing. Once again, Edge Transit.
I love Edge Transit, dude. I like memes.
Memes are great.
I don't get it though,
I
because
like
Rampage is so
fighting
much
line.
better than not having it.
See, but
here's the thing, X. You're like a walking human Destiny encyclopedia, and in a way, you are a kindred spirit to me. Kini is not. That's the difference.
I still use the weapons I like
Look.
the most. I just choose between the best ones and not the ones that are terrible.
Yeah.
look, to sum it up for you, I have unironically been using Fighting Lion since before Forsaken came out. I love that gun.
Fighting Lion's
So-
really good in PvP.
It is now. I'm not
No,
playing
before
PvP.
it was good. It's not that good now.
I don't play PvP though.
Yeah. Oh, in PvE. Oh.
Yeah. In Essence
Oh!
X, I don't play Destiny to get. I don't play Destiny to have the most insane damage outputs and melt everything
Oh man!
and get through a
in
strike
PvE?
in 30 seconds.
Oh man!
It's the same reason why I don't raid, because everyone I raid with wants to go through the raid and be done in a half an hour and wants to get Sherpa'd through and not have
Yeah,
to think
because
about
that's the
any of it and
point.
not
You want to get in
experience
and
any of it.
finish it as
No,
fast
that's
as
not the
humanly
point.
possible.
That's not the point. When 8 months into Destiny, I still haven't actually been inside the Vault of Glass, and I want to be able to actually explore and see the Vault of Glass and experience the raid, as opposed to just do this, and then
There's not that much to
do
explore.
this, and that. It's not the point, X. It's the reason why I love Forsaken so much, is because the Dreaming City is massive and there's lots to explore. Even if there wasn't, I would still love it, because the illusion of having a ton to explore and secrets hidden around every corner is keeping me going. I already know 90% of what the community has discovered is hiding in the Dreaming City. I know of it. I know where it hides. I know how to do it, even if I haven't done it yet. I know it. But the fact that there's that 10%, even if we have found everything, the fact that there's always going to be a what if we didn't is something I love.
#7th chest in VOG found through Whisper of the Worm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked
don't-
through the API. There's still stuff in there.
I don't play Destiny for stats and quick kills and yada yada. The reason
all
I
about
play
that quick
Destiny
kill.
is to enjoy it.
I enjoy
I
my
like
quick
playing
kills.
the game. I don't play the game just so that I can run through everything and get all my new gear and then turn the game off because I've experienced everything and it only took me 2 hours. That's not.
Oh no, you don't understand it at all. Once you get everything that's the best, then you can do everything in the game, but the fastest way humanly possible.
Which isn't fun to me. I'm not a
That's the
speed runner.
funnest part.
No,
I
it's
agree.
not.
X, you're the man with the plan.
It's
No.
not even speedrunning. It's just doing everything you would normally do, just the best way possible.
And that's fine and dandy, but it's not like I agree to a certain point. I would rather run through strikes quickly if I could, but I would also rather have fun running through strikes, because if I'm not having fun and I'm just doing it to be done it to be as quick as possible, I'm not having fun.
Oh, I'm having fun, and I jump through the strikes and explore.
Yeah,
and stuff
but that's
as well. It's
you,
just...
not me.
Yeah,
I
but
don't care
that's
about
just
the
what
set.
you said, though. I just told. I just said.
Honest to God, you could send me your spreadsheet and you could give me the rundown of every single best gun to use, and there's a 99% chance I might use one, and that's it.
That seems like a good. That's a 99% chance. That seems like a good chance. I don't.
It's a perfect chance. It's because
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah,
There's a
but it's a high
99%
chance
chance
you'll
I would.
use one, right?
Yeah, I
That
would
sounds
use
good.
one. Might use one of the best guns. Only
Yeah.
one, and that's
Yeah.
it.
There is like one gun that's really good. That's Midnight Coup. So then you could be good if you just use that.
Cool. What is it?
It's a 150 RPM hand cannon with outlaw and
gonna
ramp.
use it.
Leviathan.
Not gonna use it.
Okay.
It's a hand cannon. I don't use them.
I know that's a bait. That's bait right there. Because hand
It's
cannons are
also
the best
true.
in PvE. So
And
it's
I
like...
don't care. I don't like
I know,
hand cannons.
I know that you don't care, but you said that just so that I should say that. I understood that.
I don't like hand cannons. That's simply all it is. So
I
yeah,
know.
they're the best in PvE, but I wouldn't use one. That is the point.
That's okay.
You're the kind of person who goes, no, it's the best in PvE. You gotta use the
No,
best
I don't
one.
think you gotta use it. It's just the fact that, like,
No, the
whenever
way that you
people are
play,
saying-
the way that you play when you're going through the game, you go, okay, that's the best one. That's the one I'm gonna use. Right?
No, I'm gonna choose everything that I have currently, use the best thing that I have, and then when I get the best thing, then I'll use it.
Yeah, see, I'm not like that because I go, okay, what do I have? And I'm going to use the stuff that I like that I have with the best of what I have. And if I do get if I got all of the best stuff, I probably still wouldn't use the actual best stuff.
Yeah, you're allowed, but like the point, like, I'm not speedrunning strikes, dude. Like I am exploring and looking around stuff, just like you said earlier. It's just that the second the enemies come up, and I'm shooting them, I'm doing it the best way I possibly could.
Yeah, and that's fine, but I also like the challenge to a certain extent. I love feeling powerful, but I don't like feeling so powerful that everything is weak and dies in one hit. There are certain times for that, and I love it when I go back into zones where I just murder everything, but I don't like that being the standard rate. Gambit, for example. Would it be awesome if I could win every match because I can melt the Primeval in 3 seconds? Yeah. Would I get really tired of Gambit really quickly? Probably.
We're working on that.
Oh
by the
no,
way,
you
Kini.
wouldn't. Once you reach legend rank, it does not get boring. Believe me. I got back and forth to like the Primeval boss. Like you can see the health bar just going up and down, like 3 times throughout.
I mean,
a round.
overall, I would have a couple of fun, rounds, but overall, I'd probably get bored of it because I'm not obscenely competitive to begin with.
Well, don't worry, Kini. X is like he's teaching me the strategy for Gambit.
And I say that as somebody who was obscenely competitive in Halo SWAT, because God tier Halo SWAT.
Well, fair enough.
But I do agree what you said about the whole open world thing, because I don't even I haven't thought of that for 4 years because I didn't look anything into Destiny before the beta came out, and then after the beta came out, I looked into every single info I could. But like, I wasn't interested in the game before I actually played it, so I never looked at like trailers or hype or whatever it might have you. But I do agree upon that point that they do actually deliver on that point in that the world there's stuff in it this time around, because a lot of the times with Destiny when you went to old Russia, there was like a select few things that you could do, and like it just lacked depth. Like the big scenery, the big places, they were really big and really beautiful and had really cool spectacle and scenery, but they were really empty. They felt really empty.
Yep.
But when you go to the Dreaming City, there's so much everywhere.
Yeah, every nook and cranny is hiding something, and you just want to explore all of it, see everything. And I love that because that's the way a lot of MMOs are designed. You look at stuff like World of Warcraft, yeah, there's certain spots where resources and stuff spawn, but that's where eventually you figure all those out. Destiny
found
never had
Toland
that
yet?
until now.
Have you found Toland?
Found? Do you mean have I noticed that he's around?
Like you can find him in Ascendant challenges, and it's really
We
cool.
haven't done many other challenges. I don't.
We've only done one Ascendant challenge, and he was just Toland opens the way for the light.
He's hidden around there somewhere, and if you find him, he has certain dialogue. Like he just had a piece of dialogue that I find fascinating. Talking about Zol.
What about Saul?
The one about Zol. He says,
Yeah.
let me find the exact quote. Okay, he says, "Were you tricked by the worm that chased the warbind? Did you truly believe you'd fought one of the beings that the Hive called gods? Ha!
That is the best retcon ever.
It is glorious retcon."
I'm really happy about that retcon, but also I'm like, Bungie.
They can't stick to it.
Oh yeah, they won't. They'll mess it up somehow. But like
no, because it's like Wow, that's a worm god, huh? Doesn't even get a raid. He gets a strike.
Right?
We get a whole DLC on Oryx, but we don't even get much more than a strike off of their
Yeah, because
most powerful thing we've ever fought, and it gets a mission and then a strike. That's just the mission.
Yeah, that
I
was
love this
really
post.
stupid.
This post on Reddit: with every new reference and mention of Savathun, I become less and less able to believe anything I'm experiencing in this game. And then the response: you don't really believe we left the Infinite Forest, do you?
Did you like Curse of Osiris, Kini? Like your unbiased opinion, like for just quick? Like,
Okay,
because
so
it's just so hated, and I want to know.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Curse of Osiris, in and of itself, is fine. I actually kind of enjoyed it, but part of that is because of the fact that I ran through it on my way to leveling to Access Forsaken.
Wait, you ran like a
I did-
like a
I
speed
didn't-
run?
Well, no. I There's a difference between wanting to get through everything super fast and having a really fast DLC that you just go through.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because let's
man.
be honest, there was no substance to Curse of Osiris. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the little, drop lore thing, and by the way, Osiris is interesting. Like, I enjoyed what they did. If I had bought it when it released and had to wait, 3 months for Warmind, which was also disappointing, to come out, I would have hated it because everything about it is terrible as endgame content. However, it being an extra thing to do in the grind for endgame content, because the prophecies drop at 500.
What?
Actually higher, I think. The prophecies all drop at Forsaken endgame entry level stuff. So
Man, that hurts.
I completed one the other day, and it gave me 503. So, whoop-de-doo. Might depend when you got it, though, like when you actually picked up the prophecy. Anyways, the point is it wasn't a good expansion, and Meso knows I take issue with the fact that they're calling these expansions.
Oh yeah,
I always kind of have,
that's Kini's big beef.
because
They're not really expansions.
I grew up in Diablo 2, where the expansion to Diablo 2 was another act of the game that added new classes to play as and a bunch of new abilities and a ton of new gear and yada on and on and on. It was like a whole extra game got added onto it. It changed so much. Curse of Osiris is not that. Curse of Osiris is DLC. Curse of Osiris is the kind of thing that in any other game would have just been the free update for the month of blah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's this? The game is out. Guess what? The story is advancing. We've received word. Osiris's ghost has appeared. Investigate the circumstances. That would just be something that gets added to the game. And it wasn't. You had to pay like $20 for it.
Well, Curse of Osiris was like abysmal because one of the missions was like a lost sector on Earth, and then another one of the missions was just running through the Pyramidian strike.
Yep.
And then like two of the missions were strikes.
I think
Or at
what
least
the,
one
what
mission.
the problem is.
It was abhorrent.
We should wrap up, Kurt. I regret. Like, we should mostly talk about Forsaken, but Hawk,
That's fine.
Finish your thought.
Yeah.
Finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say the problem is that Bungie and Activision, up until now, seemingly, have been running it like, hey, we need to keep bringing people back, so let's put out an expansion, but let's rush the expansion because it's not actually expansion; it's just an excuse to get people back.
Yeah, it's trying to. It's rushed out to get people to get in, and the people who are dedicated don't like it, and the people that they're trying to rush in, they're just
Don't care
getting
for it
half.
either.
Yeah.
My only concern is the fact that they've already released their plan for the next year.
The annual pass.
The annual pass, which I have because it was actually $10 cheaper to get Forsaken with the annual pass than to just get Forsaken. So, depending on how the annual pass goes, is going to color my opinion of the whole franchise. Because if they do the same thing that they've done for 2 games and for 4 years now, where instead of dumping their effort into one gigantic expansion that is worth the money that you pay for it,
I mean, it's going to be micro content. They've been very upfront about that.
But if it meaningly adds on to the end game, right? I'm not talking one little raid layer difference. If it meaningfully adds on, I'm okay with it.
Fair enough.
If it doesn't meaningfully add on, then I'm not. I don't care if all they do is add some stuff to the raid and some random stuff to do outside and boost the light level. If they pull an Osiris, if they pull another Osiris, which is where it's just, this is the end game now, and it's disappointing, then I'm legitimately completely done with Destiny. Except for lore drops, because I will always love Destiny's lore.
Fair enough.
I will say though to talk towards that one point about them doing the Curse of Cyrus stuff, they've explicitly told us that they're basically cutting out the content that they're sort of filled in to get other people in. Like I don't think any of these content drops are any story missions at all. Like there's no mini campaign at all ever.
I think Joker's Wild might have something because they keep mentioning how it's gonna like tell the story of the Drifter, but that'd be about it. Yeah.
Well, here's a random one. What's Forges of the Chain?
It's a very good question. A new activity, perhaps, like
because
Prison of Elders, maybe.
Yeah, Forges of the Chain activity, access to the Black Armory, like that's in the annual pass graphic, which X posted up.
Yep.
And
it's all very vague.
You know, it's all incredibly vague. I don't mind if all they do is add a few new things to do. If the triumphs are fun enough to do, if everything is interesting enough, I'll be on board with it. Just don't put half effort into something and then release it and say, okay, now you owe us $20 and this is the only thing that you have to do for endgame.
Weapon crafting, massive air quotes.
Yeah.
I do agree, like, even though a lot of this information is vague, I do like that they're at least giving us some information. I don't know, and I actually don't know if that's a good thing or not. I think I might actually be too deep, like Stockholm Syndrome, because they've been very terrible when it comes to giving us information and stuff. Like the whole meme about, like, in this weekly update is a update about an update coming with the next update after another update. Like, they've just been drip feeding stuff so lightly. So the fact that they finally ever give us like a actual roadmap of stuff ahead for like in a year is just incredible from their point of view.
I think that Destiny 2 hurt. I don't think it necessarily hurt their wallets. They're backed by Activision. I think the game still made a ton of money because it had a marketing budget, but I think it definitely hurt the community. And I think they feel that hurt. You could say it's for altruistic reasons, or you could say it's just to recover brand loyalty, but their handling of Forsaken and the community and just the general transparency has been top-notch. And I'm not really concerned about why it's better so much that it continues to be better. That's basically all I care for. I'm very content with this roadmap. I do agree with Kini, the activities need to be of substance. They can't just be fluff. But
yeah.
We'll
But the thing is that, like, a bunch of the trailers before Forsaken came out, they talked about all the stuff you usually hear in Bungie vid docs and videos. They're just like, oh, we did all of this, and this is like a new thing, and it's gonna blow your mind and all that stuff. And like that kind of was all just like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. And a lot of what they said they actually delivered upon it and Forsaken, because they said, like, the one line that stuck with me was that they said, one guy, I don't know who it is, but he says in the video, all the info and all the feedback that the community have gotten, it's all in Forsaken, it's all here. I thought, like, I did genuinely just brush that off as just another Bungo bringing in the customers type deal, but they did genuinely make. It seems like they made a genuine effort to bring back the quote-unquote hobby and
They totally
the
did.
feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's appreciated. I just hope they maintain
It's very
that level of
appreciated.
quality.
I
Which
remember
is-
asking Meso if it was Destiny 2's Taken King, and the response was, "It totally is. It's possibly better." And the fact of the matter is it's nothing like Taken King, because Taken King was amazing, but Forsaken actually tries to be better.
After
With
replaying
so
Taken
much
King
more.
with Haley over the last few days, Forsaken is way better than Taken King. It's not even on the same wavelength of quality.
Taken King is like what would become Forsaken. Taken King's the baby, and Forsaken
It was the Inklings of
is
Promise.
the adult.
Because the reason why Taken King was so good is because Destiny 2 base was terrible and then the DLCs were terrible. But Taken King showed promise. It showed a story that had a few cutscenes with a few characters. You know, it showed a centralized focus building up to a raid and a sense of progression that felt cohesive. And it had the Dreadnought, which was filled with secrets. Those were its biggest points.
Fact of the matter is Taken King, Rise of Iron, to an extent, and Rise of Iron and Forsaken are all legitimate expansions. And as long as Bungie keeps making legitimate expansions, it'll be fine. The whole the fact that they're calling it an annual pass now and not an expansion pack gives me hope.
True
Yeah.
enough.
Because it means they've accepted that what they've been doing are not expansions.
Yeah.
yeah, because like this, what they said, what I said about them delivering on what they said about Forsaken, is what is giving me hope in this annual pass thing. Because all the information that we've gotten on annual pass, while vague, they've basically reiterated that they want to add on to like new stuff to do and like end game activities, like stuff they want people to do rather than to add on like a small little story campaign thing to please the masses, which just seems like they're going all the way when it comes to this whole MMORPG-esque FPS thing. Like it just feels like we're finally at that point where they're just
Agreed.
gonna try to do this thing, because like the type of content we've gotten with Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore, just imagine that like in a small package, like the Dark Below or Prison of Elders, but like of the same quality, but like a lot smaller. Like that would be very good, basically. And I'm hoping
Agreed.
that's what we get. But I don't know, so don't take my word for it. I don't work for Bungie. I don't know what they do. I just like playing PvP.
Let's be honest, nobody knows what Bungie's doing. Not even Bungie.
Yeah,
really
not
knows
even
what
Bungie.
Bungie's doing.
Yeah,
I
you
wanna
can
read
see
out a
it in
few
deep
things.
size.
A few things that I really like about Forsaken that I don't think enough people either recognize, or maybe I just recognize more than others because I'm weird. The spider was a really
Spider's
cool.
the best character ever in Destiny.
Whoa, I don't know about that, but he's certainly like top 3.
I like him.
He was a complete surprise. Nobody knew he was coming. Freaking great voice actor. Like a new element to the universe. He's like Destiny's Jabba the Hutt, but actually interesting. He's so cool, and I hope he has a role in the story going forward. That one cutscene where they introduced the Barons with like the cards falling from the sky was masterfully done, and it made me want to go on eBay and buy the $20 pack of Forsaken playing cards you get for pre-ordering at GameStop. Just so I can like do that cutscene in real life.
I love the line that Spider gives to you after you finish the main campaign, where he's just like, "Adieu, awoken Spider. Only Spider remains," and it's just like he's the bad guy, and we just helped him. It was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, it was really neat. Did you like the Spider, Eljay? You've been really quiet.
I'm
I
building
don't-
up to LJ. I want to give him the floor.
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't have a lot to add. I mean, I thought the spider was cool. I thought he was a very interesting character, and I hope he comes back. Not because like I'm pining for more spider, but just because I hope that we get something after that. You know, we're gonna make a deal. Okay, I'm gonna help you here, but then you're gonna help me later. Okay,
Well,
and
we
then
did
we come
help him.
back.
We helped him with all of his bounty.
Oh, come on, that can't be.
Yeah, we
There's
do. We
gotta
help
be
them all the
something.
time. We do bounties.
I think
We
that's why
buy-
they were meeting. Like, we basically become his lapdog on the Dreaming City. I mean, sorry, in the Tangled Shore from that point on, and we're doing all these, like, tasks for him.
Fair
See,
enough.
they could say that, but then guaranteed they would just as easily go, yeah, something's happened, and now the spider's like, nope, you still owe me. Remember
That would
that
be
time that I told you where all the people that you wanted to find were, and helped you, and sent guys that died to help you?
Rip Hedgehog Fallen, you will be remembered.
Yep.
So, I really like that. The Dreaming City is the best location Destiny's ever done. Not only is it gorgeous and filled with secrets in multiple veins, secret collectibles, secret chests, secret rooms, secret challenges, but it just has, it's such a unique concept to have it change after the raid and unlock more stuff. LJ, your typing is loud.
Oh, I thought it was.
Meso, did you
quieter.
know that the Taken infestation that you see on the walls and the buildings change over time?
Oh yeah, and it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about it. I really think Sabathin's gonna come and just do a lot of things.
Oh yeah. Well, Zivu Arath is also coming. The second sister, because her mooks just started to show up. So the Oryx family is gonna come together to
To
attack us.
avenge Big Daddy.
Now we just need to find Touch of Malice. I wonder if it got blown. I wonder if the Cabal took it.
Out of curiosity, Kini, what was your favorite weapon in old Destiny 1? Like the one gun that just stuck with you or something. It could be exotic or legendary, I don't care. I just...
Vostov.
Kvovstov?
The Vostov.
Not the exotic version, just the first one you got?
Both.
I
Just
really
I
liked-
actually never ever broke down my Vostov, so I had, most people were like making new characters to go back through that first to get the original so that they could start the exotic quest. I never had to do that. I just went into my vault and pulled it out.
Was it just because like the contrast of using a very militaristic modern gun in a sci-fi shooter, or was it just...
It was the fact that it was like, this is an ancient relic, and I love that fact. Like, most of the stuff you find in Destiny are like ancient in quotation marks because they're ancient, but they're relics of these guardians of ages past, but it's like a couple hundred years, maybe 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Zavala's lifetime, basically.
Sure.
And the Kvostov was legitimately ancient.
Huh. I'm really surprised it's still shot though.
There's no reason that thing should have shot.
Yep. The game in which you like resurrect through a little ball of light. The fact that this gun, that's the
Yeah.
part, is that's unrealistic.
Yep. You're like, it actually shoots.
Right? Wasn't that rusty as well, man? It's weird.
Another thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Prentice is asking a lore question. Since Guardians get revived by ghosts unless they're killed, can they live forever? Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
The lore is a little weird on some things, but a lot of the Guardians that are in the lore, or even like Zavala, Shax, Saladin, those kinds, they've been around for like at minimum a few hundred years. So
I didn't even know people touched by the Traveler's Light could die
until
they did.
one
That's such
interesting thing
bad
though.
writing.
One interesting thing though is makes you wonder, was Saladin old when he died originally?
It's a good
They
question.
don't age. Was he just old when he died and now they can't make him any younger?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even know, man.
Praise-based salad man.
Yep.
Another few things I really like. I really like that they've brought back the bounty-centric infrastructure, by which I mean everything revolves around bounties. You go pick up your bounties, you do your bounties, turn in your bounties. That's how it goes. That's how it should be. Challenges were stupid. They watered down that concept far too much.
They are efficient in the sense that like it like if we were robots, they would essentially satisfy us the exact same or even more so because they're quote unquote more efficient.
You're
But the
not
thing
wrong.
is yeah, but the thing is that I think it's more about the act and everything of like you're picking up like an assignment basically, and you get that really satisfying, like when you've done a bunch of bounties
And you
and
get
you
to
just
turn 'em
click
all
on
in.
turn them on. That is really satisfying. That feels very rewarding, and that like visually shows you the things you've done, the success, and you can see in like very bright spectacle all the things that you're rewarded with. And I think that's what they recognized, and that's why they went really hard on the bounties this expansion, because you know like all the new NPCs, the Gamba NPC, the Spider, the Dreaming City, it's 100% just bounty centric because that's the most. Yeah, you get it.
I totally get it. Completely understand. Yeah, I mean, I could just go down the list about Forsaken, all the things I like. The environments are gorgeous. The story was awesome. The landscapes had a lot of secrets. There are awesome weapons.
I like the boss battles.
The loot grind economy is back. The Barons were so cool.
They were so Borderlands.
The very, very Borderlands.
Yeah, I loved it. It felt, I don't know what it is, but the campaign felt a lot more fun by just putting a lot of bosses in it, because it makes missions feel special and different from each other and memorable.
There's more of an attachment besides
Yeah.
just like running around killing the same guys. And then
Yeah,
fighting
you know.
a slightly bigger version of the same guy.
No one's going to look back at that mission where it's just like, oh yeah, I loved going back to the EDC to just go to a tower and put in a ghost thing in Curse of Osiris. You know, that was really fun. It had a lot of personality. You know, it just definitely didn't feel like a.
And I will
complete
forever
chore.
remember my quest against the Rider and his flaming pike, or like the Rifleman, which is
That thing
particularly
was
vengeance filled.
So horrible, underleveled.
Oh yeah, Eljay and I tried to knock out the Rifleman first, just because of what he did to Cade, and we just couldn't. We
Oh.
did close,
No, we
though.
got close. We got very close. Meso was sitting there like a little punk going, we're not going to be able to do it. Let's just take the lowest light level guy. Like, you know, we were a bully in a playground going after the weak, scrawny
Wow.
kid. But I was like, no, we're going to go to the biggest, baddest guy who hurt us the most, and we're going to stomp him. We came so close. We almost killed him. And then it ended up being we just...
horseshoes.
Yes, thank you. We came very close. We decided, all right, we'll give this 2 shots. We failed. Then we went back, leveled up a little bit more, and utterly stomped him at the very end. So,
There you go.
You get Triumph for taking out his hologram thingies, taking out 5 of them without reloading.
Yep.
oh.
Well,
Yeah.
That's good to know.
It's really easy, but it's
I
just
got
so
that
it's
one
just
accidentally.
same.
That's one of the only triumphs from the Barons that I do have.
Do you like the
I
triumphs
love
and
Triumph.
collections and stuff?
I
Is
love-
that your type of stuff to
That
just
is my kind of thing. Like to have a
because
goal
that is
to work
not my
towards.
kind of thing at all.
I
It's
love
totally not my
triumphs.
thing. To have a goal to work towards or certain like achievable things, right? That's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that I go for because I just find it fun and it's different. It kind of forces you to do things different ways and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's really good because it just like I said, it brings in different goals for different players. Because like I don't care about that thing at all because I don't want to do all those weird stuff and it won't grant me like a gameplay advantage at all, so I'm not interested in it. But other people have something as their goal. Like my goal will be to get good weapons, and other people it'll be because I know people on my friends list who has that emblem where they show off the score for their triumphs, and like that's all they do. They ask for help to get all this. Like I had a guy who needed 60 to be the only guy dumping motes in like Gambit, and I helped him doing that. And it made people really happy, and I really like that they're adding depth like that for all types of players into the game, which is what is bringing people into play this expansion, which is like Like what
Agreed.
changes it? It's a good thing basically is what I'm trying to say.
I have news about the raid. An Easter egg has just been uncovered in the last Wish
Is it
raid.
big news?
It's big news.
Big news.
It's not plot related and it's not encounter related. It's an Easter egg. So
Okay.
if anyone doesn't want to know this Easter egg, tune out now. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. It's just an Easter egg, but I
One.
know some people care.
2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5,
Okay.
6,
So the 10
Seven.
seconds.
8, 9, 10. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right.
I like
Bungie
that
has
Prentice counted down.
Bungie has put in Grunt birthday party
And we're
Wait,
done.
what?
The game's over.
into the last wish.
Wait, what?
Grunt?
Yeah, it's a Halo thing where if you it was a skull modifier where if you shoot people in the head they explode in confetti.
My God.
There's something in the raid called the Well of Wishes where you can do like codes and combinations. It's basically cheat codes. And I think it's how you're going to be able to like teleport to different areas of the raid, like a checkpoint mechanic. But someone figured out that you can get Grunt Birthday Party by doing it.
Oh my God.
Is this what Bungie was when they were cool and Halo?
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
cool? Is this the type of stuff they did?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like it plays
All
the
the
Paul
time.
McCartney song if you do like a certain combination.
Look, the fact that there's a lost sector that's a nightclub that the first
I
time
love
I
that
walked
one.
into it, it was blasting that Paul McCartney song. And it was I had to put the controller down just so that I could stop myself from laughing. It was amazing.
I had to
This-
do a double take
Like-
when I walked in.
This is the Bungie that I want. I want the Bungie that can tell a serious story and also be like, by the way, I know this is your 9th time going through this area, so here's a little funny tidbit that you can find to make it more entertaining.
Yep. And there's a billion more secrets too. Like people are just now discovering this Well of Wishes thing. Who knows what else is there?
I definitely feel like they've gone the extra mile here in terms like I do 100% think that there is something along the lines of the Whisper of the Worm or maybe even to the extent of Outbreak Prime. Really looking forward because all the things that we've delivered upon with Forsaken, we've never had a point where we've been satisfied at launch with the content and then they've given us content over time that were also satisfactory. That makes you very hungry.
Prison of Elders.
It's so good.
I
It's so-
also hates it. Okay, he has.
But why do you not like it, LJ? I would like to know because I loved every bit of it. I had this stupidest grin on my face.
So once this is over, I call the spot. If Sammy already does one, I call the third spot.
Okay.
All right.
It's why I got massively burnt out on the game back in 2014, 2015
Alright.
for about 4 hours. And idiots as we were, we went and under-leveled. So we go in, we struggle on one confrontation for 4 hours and fail. We
It was
just fail. And
It
that
was Dismantle Mines Hive with Arcburn.
Metal Minds.
Yeah.
I got so horrifically burnt out. I could not stand the game, and it put such a bad taste in my mouth for the entire franchise.
That is
our own
an
hubris.
understandable reason to not like the Warden of Nothing Strike. You have been redeemed, but I was about to find a plane ticket to come to your house and teach you a lesson, but I will not do that now.
But
You know,
but in
it's-
all
it's funny, though,
seriousness, it's a
because
very
I always thought-
like from an actual like in-game perspective, it's a very well done callback.
I was always kind of surprised that you hated it though, because I figured it would be your favorite because you get to see the Prison of Elders in flames.
Okay, that's true. It's love-hate. Love-hate.
Yeah,
Because
right?
like, I
I
hate it because
figured it
it's
would be
Prison of
your
Elders, but I
favorite.
love it because it's
Fair.
it's done. It is utterly destroyed. So
Kini, you played the Hollow Lair, or what is it called? The Corrupted? The Corrupted Strike, the new
yeah.
one.
Corrupted is God tier.
Did you like that?
Corrupted is
Did you like that
amazing.
strike?
Loved
Did you
it.
know?
Loved every second of it.
Did you know which developer made that strike?
No
I
idea.
don't know.
You have no idea who made
No
who
idea.
was behind it because I have a guy who's part of a really big clan, and they have they play with people who are friends with Bungie employees, and some of them have even played with Bungie employees themselves. So, like, this is a very much a story of just like XD. My dad works for Bungie; he will ban you. But this is a person I've played with since 2014, so I do actually believe his word, and it was very plausible, his story. But basically, the person behind the corrupted strike is the same person that made Exodus crash, and he was incredibly bummed by it essentially being the most hated strike throughout Destiny's history, that he himself took it upon himself to make the corrupted the best strike he possibly could.
Exodus Crash, for those not aware, is the one with the one fallen guy who keeps like disappearing, and you have to like wait for him to reappear with like the chain lightning.
That they had to take away from Nightfall and Strike playlist because everyone hated it so much and quit it.
That's
every
so
time it
heartwarming.
came
That's
up.
a redemption story for the ages. Because the corrupted is legendary. It's so good.
That's heartwarming. You gotta.
It really is.
Yeah, right? Because that's
it.
but honestly, those two strikes really, they don't feel like strikes. They feel like
No.
like of course they're very new right now, but like it just
But they feel like story missions in their
Yeah.
execution.
they
As
felt like a
opposed
cool,
to strikes, which usually feel like just, okay, go find a way to kill this guy. Go through the motions until you find him and then kill him. The corrupted and like it feels like something else.
Oh
yeah.
Like, you don't
Like-
know what's actually gonna happen because you know you're gonna fight something probably. But if that strike had ended without a boss battle, I would not have been. I would have been shocked and surprised, but I would have been like, "This is amazing, and please give me more of these."
yeah, because I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the big one was about for Warden of Nothing was just the spectacle behind it and stuff. Because like a normal strike, you just think like, oh, I run through these enemies, and then you get to the Fall Walker, you kill him, and then you run all the way there, and then you get to the boss. But like with Warden of Nothing and the Corrupted, I really liked it in the Warden of Nothing where you like going through under throughout the Prison of Elders, and you can see the Cabal in the background, like they're coming into the arena, you know, and then you're just like you're in the inner workings and like the train stations, and you get to see like everything behind the Prison of Elders, and it doesn't feel like you're in a linear line through a level. It feels, like I said, like it feels like you're doing something here. It doesn't feel as artificial as I'm just going through here to kill a boss, you know?
Oh yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. And I really wish that they like if they could fill an entire strike playlist with just strikes like the Warden of Nothing and the Corrupted, like I would genuinely play the strike playlist just for fun, because it would just be a blast to play that with two of your friends, you know?
Completely agree. Let's begin to wrap up with final thoughts, I guess. Primarily from Eljay. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, no, I haven't said a whole lot this time, just because I'm not as in depth on this game as the three of you are. Like, obviously, X, you're the data master, and it is so much fun listening to your breakdowns of all the different weaponry. Meso,
Thanks, man.
you're kind of like, I mean,
Community
let's be
guy.
honest. If the meta were a pet, you would make it your Pokemon. Okay?
Agreed.
That was a
And quote.
beautiful line, LJ. That was poetry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Kini,
Lore master.
yeah, you know the story. You're the guy with the books. You know what the ins and outs of all the lore cards are. You're like, if you were anyone other than yourself, you'd be My Name is Bife on YouTube.
Huh.
My name is Bife.
Funny thing is what's funny is that every time you mention something new, like you or Meso or even X now will mention something about Destiny, and it's like, I haven't heard this yet. Tell me it. And then Meso will be like, okay, well, this is the story that's going on, and I go, oh.
Yeah. So the three of you guys have basically the entire game covered. My whole thing is, well, is the game fun? What do I get out of it that's enjoyable? And unfortunately, it isn't a whole heck of a lot. Like, I enjoy playing the game with, well, two of you, because one of you is on PS4, which, no hate. X, you're still wonderful.
No hate.
What?
No, you're good. So that being said, like, the game, for me, I'm all about the rule of cool. Like, if I can be in a game and A, do well in it, and B, look cool while I'm doing well in it, I'm a fairly happy camper. That's my basic motto in Halo. That's my basic motto in Overwatch. Destiny does everything in its power to prevent me from doing that. I can do decently. That's not really my concern. And while I have the cool ultimate, I'm not a personal fan of the armor. They took my favorite weapon from Destiny 1 and took it out of Forsaken, and no matter how many times I've gone to Bungie's doorstep, to Deege's doorstep on Twitter, and begged and pleaded and given up my
Zalo?
Yes.
It's stinking Zalo Supercell. They took it out of Destiny. It's not in Destiny. It was my favorite weapon because it was so cool. I really loved how it looked. I loved how it functioned. It was a lot of fun to play with, and now it's gone. They took it, they stripped anything that made it neat and interesting, and they shoved it in a stupid Risk Runner.
Risk Runner.
And it just that I'm awfully disappointed. I'm not a big fan of the art style. So all of that being said, I don't have a great investment in Destiny, in the franchise as a whole.
Because of one gun?
Well, no.
Eljay
It's
is
not
king of the subject.
It's not just because of one gun. Like, there are other factors, but the Zalo's the one I hammer in the most. It's the one I'm most vocal about. That all being said, Forsaken was fantastic. Like, I don't think that it redeemed the franchise. I think that's going to take a few more Forsakens to do that. However, Forsaken was legitimately an excellent story. They did a wonderful job. They did something which... Risky biscuits, don't get me wrong. Like, okay, we're going to take the only character people can really get attached to in this game, Cade 6, voiced by the immaculate Nathan Fillion, and we're going to kill him. They took that, which sounds like a risky premise, and they just made one of the best stories Destiny has had, period. It was wonderful. Everything looks beautiful. The Dreaming City is great. I'm excited for the raid. A lot of the armor is actually enjoyable, although no Zalo, so Deej, I'm going back to your doorstep. But it was sincerely a fantastic DLC. I would personally say that it is the best expansion Destiny has ever released. You know, the close second obviously being The Taken King. But it was a good story. There was nothing about it that I sat there and went,
No cringe.
There was no cringe. There was nothing that I outwardly disliked. There are things that obviously perturb me. Like, Gambit does frustrate me at times, but that goes for any game type. And the challenge to get Ace of Spades, the first one, was unfathomably obnoxious. But everything else was great. It's been mostly enjoyable. The downsides of it are the usual Destiny downsides. I get a feeling that it's very I don't want to say anti-gamer, but it's not really pro-gamer. It's very difficult to make anything happen to gain any traction in certain areas. But I enjoyed Forsaken thoroughly. If you're a fan of Destiny, I cannot recommend it enough. I would say that it certainly makes up for the last two DLCs, but I do not think that it makes up for the fact that Destiny 2 launched poorly. And I don't think it makes up for the fact that there are so many different issues with Destiny's story and how it told its lore, and the fact that Zalo still isn't in the game. Deej, please, I swear I'll do anything that's not against the law or immoral. Please, you gotta bring that thing back. I'm begging you here. What do you need? You can even make it solar. It's okay. I'll deal with it. But heck, you know what? Let's downgrade it even further. You can make it void. Nobody likes void, but it's fine. Just bring it back. But still, I think Forsaken was fantastic. I love what they did with Cade's character. I love what they did with the Dreaming City. I'm super excited for the raid. I think it's an absolutely wonderful addition. I do not regret buying it. However, Meso, I swear to every single item in a grocery store, stop buying day one. And that's it.
Dude.
That's all I have to say.
It's like the movie theater experience, seeing movies
Which is
in
awful.
theater. It's like the gaming experience. If you don't play it when it's new, then you're a foo.
No. Movie theater
do not
experience
listen
is
to Meso.
trash.
That is a very no.
Yeah, exactly. Meso is what's wrong with the game.
Don't pre-order, people. It's very bad. Don't look at it like movies. It's a horrible way of looking at it. Do
It
not
is.
listen to Meso on this one. We do
Meso
not
is what's wrong with the
affiliate
gaming
with
industry.
Meso's opinion.
Buy on launch
No.
day and also buy the collector's edition so you can get.
No!
Watch this. Watch this. You know what? I'm
Don't
gonna
just
blow.
buy on launch day. Pre-order 6 years ahead.
No.
Here.
No.
I'm gonna blow your minds in the chat here. Boom. Look at that. You can't spell Messinac without EA.
Oh.
I know,
Thinking
right?
emoji times 10.
Hold up.
Boom. Oh no! Oh no! This is turning back around on me.
Eljay?
I
Uh-oh,
feel.
you can't
More
spell
like
LJ
EAJ,
without
am I
EA
Oh
either.
no! Oh great.
But
Meso
Eljay,
posted-
were you gonna post our Guardians?
Yes, I actually do have our Guardians. If you guys wanted to to do
Oh,
that.
good God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have mine?
No, see, X came up with this idea and got it all set up before you got here as punishment for you being late.
Yeah.
There was a train.
Uh-huh. And did you train
I did
yourself
not
to get
have
around
a
it?
Choice. LJ, it's a little known fact for anyone that lives outside of the city of Edmonton, but trains in this city are the worst.
Well, I guess you got off track.
Oh!
Depending on what kind of train it is, you're probably
Sit
pretty
down!
pretty steamed.
Oh!
You know, now is one of those times I wish I knew if me leaving in anger and disappointment would actually ruin things or not.
This
Because I would.
conversation no longer has any locomotion.
Haley says, LJ, your Meso is showing.
Meso got that from me!
Oh!
Meso
I'm
got
the
that from
OG.
me!
That's untrue, fam. You're like.
Meso's Eljay
Chinese
shows whenever he makes
knockoff.
awful puns. Puns are my thing!
Nerds!
You're the cheap Chinese knockoff of
How dare you? I'm American brand.
cheap American
Is that
knockoff.
you in that GIF, Meso?
No, that's
No, my hair is not that like frizzy.
that's Tooth
Oh.
Dominoes from Lego.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, poster Guardians, Eljay.
Okay, well, so I'll go ahead and start off with the one I think is actually the coolest, and it's not mine. It's actually X's. X, tell me a little bit
Oh.
about this Guardian.
Oh, okay. Well, he has the best stats you possibly could in terms of survivability in PvP. He has 7 resilience, which gives you enough health to survive 2 bursts from high impact pulses, as well as 3 tap from Jade Rabbit. So I could safely be at range and go against long range weaponry with them out, like not being able to outgoat me in a fair fight, basically. And I also have 10 recovery, so I will regen my health as fast as humanly possible. I've put no mods in terms of when it comes to ability cooldowns, etc., because the entire build is built around survivability, and instead of going for kills, it's about staying alive as humanly long as possible. So it relies on Blink from either the Devour or new skill tree on the Nova Lock. And for my different armor pieces, you have the helmet with the pulse rifle targeting, which gives me increased ADS speed, as well as more aim assist when using pulse rifles. Ophidian aspects to even further get my ADS speed, as in my aim down sight speed, so I can in a fight that surprises me, I can aim down my sights as fast as humanly possible and start the fight even though I wasn't prepared for it. For your chest piece, I have unflinching pulse rifle aim. This is a very unknown thing to most people because it's just been tested around me with my friends, but unflinching has 3 levels in Destiny 2, and it depends on how specialized the perk is on the armor. So if it says unflinching rifle aim, and it's just for all rifles basically, then it's just tier 1, or actually it might be tier 2. It's one of those, like the one that says either for a slot, as in like energy or kinetic unflinching, then it'll be tier 1 or 2. But either way, the best one is the one that's specialized for a single weapon. So I have unflinching pulse rifle aim, and the thing about that one is that that's the only perk in terms of unflinching that stops the shield break view kick. So whenever you're hit in PvP and you take half damage, so your shield breaks, you get a big view kick on your gun that throws off your aim, which is one of the reasons why hand cannons can really surprise people if they're using auto rifles or pulse rifles. So that completely puts that out the equation, which makes me really great. And the only thing that I don't have as optimized as I want to is my leg piece. I don't have fusion rifle scavenger on it, but that perk doesn't work right now. It's actually glitched. I've told Bungie multiple times. They have not made any mention, and it's not in the list of known issues that was posted a couple days ago. So Bungie, if you're hearing this, you're not doing a good job. Please. And it has dexterity, connect dexterity, which makes my ready speed increase itself. So whenever I'm sprinting, using an ability, blinking, it will take less time for me to bring up my weapon. And I'm going to try to go through my weapons because can already tell that people listening thinks this is boring. But I'm using a Bygone's pulse rifle that is just a 2-burst pulse rifle with kill clip. It kills people. It can stay at medium range really easily. It's the one from Gambit. It's by far one of the best pulse rifles in the game. If you want a good pulse rifle, you want to grind Gambit to get this gun. You can get the Bender roll at 7,500 points, and it's good enough because it rolls with a barrel arrowhead break, which gives you the least recoil in the entire game. I'm also using a target adjuster mod, which increases your aim assist, so it just makes it easier for you to hit those hitboxes. My secondary is a Erentil FR4 with the most range possible, as well as no backup plan and hipfire grip, so it's essentially a legendary version of the Plan C from Destiny 1 in every way possible. And the last one is the Outrageous Fortune grenade launcher, which is a grenade launcher that fires a tad bit faster than play of the game, but it has proximity grenades and rampage. So not only will it basically kill in the same hits, but it fires faster and also has a increased blast radius after a kill because of rampage. That's it. That's the entire build.
What described is the meta. Praise-based meta.
Now you can post a picture, Eljay, if you haven't already.
Oh, no,
Post it in the video.
Oh, it's in the video. That's cool. All right. How long did that last? Was that like 3 hours?
A while. It was like 3 hours.
I love that.
I'm sorry.
So that's X's POV of how he experiences Destiny. Cue me up next.
All right, you were next anyway, so here we... Oh gosh, where are you? Boom. Go, Meso.
So I don't have literally any gear I like, none of the perks are right, and the colors are all wrong, and I'm too lazy to put shaders on because I'm not invested in anything. So I have the dumb gas mask and the stupid shoulders and the blue pants and the cloak that's too wide at the top and makes me look like a dope wearing a cloak that's too big for me.
Yeah, but you're a hunter,
I have
so you
a
always
bow.
look like that.
I have a bow because I like bows. Explosive bows are my life. I pray to the explosive bow every night, and I'm also using Ikelos Sleeper Sim because I'm trying to be the best DPS master in the game, but failing because I dismantled the Bygone's pulse rifle because I didn't realize how good it was. And I'm also running Night Stalker because I like Night Stalker, and I stupidly spent my Seed of Light on the new Night Stalker subclass because I didn't realize the Blade Barrage glitch and Iron Banner that allows you to spawn camp, but I've been kicking myself every minute since X told me that was a thing. That's my
It's
guardian.
not even a glitch. It's intentional. It's that good.
That's my guardian. I hate everything about him because I'm failing at the meta. And he looks like an ugly dork, but he's a work in progress.
All right. Okay. Meanwhile, here we have my guardian. His name is Frederick von Buttface. His things are, he's got the ugliest helmet in the entire game. He's a Titan, which is the best class. Unfortunately, he's not doing a very good job representing our kind. He looks like he came out of a nightmare about clowns, but if that nightmare were turned into a multi-million-dollar game franchise, so they decided to plaster his face like some kind of Payday reject. For his arms, he's got these hideous arms, which make him look like some kind of a child's drawing. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name. I think there's something of Vigil. I don't know. I'm using him for a challenge in their highlight level. I don't really like using them. I like the Dreaming City arms, which give me those super awesome buffs that I need to make even buffer, because I'm ripped in real life. I'm ripping paper in real life. But as far as the torso, I don't know. As far as the legs, I don't remember the name, but I like these legs a lot. They help me walk. As far as the Titan mark, I don't like this Titan mark. I have another one which looks really awesome. It looks like it came out of the swamp, like the creature from the Black Lagoon, and just had a bunch of seaweed sticking to my thigh. But I swear it looks really cool. It's a poor descriptor, but it's apt. As far as guns, there are no good guns in this game. Usually what I use is Ormond's Anvil, because it's the only thing that really reminds me of Zalo. I miss you, Zalo. But right now I have Ace of Spades, and for the secondary and in my heavy weapon, I have no idea what they're called. And yeah, that's Frederick von Buttface.
Thank you, Eljay.
You're
Kini, you don't have a picture, but do you have anything you want to add about your guardian?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I've been tapped out for the last 10, 15 minutes.
I'm sorry I did that to you, Kini. I could tell that this was gonna hurt you because I started and midway through I was just like, I'm not gonna take. I just noticed that, like, I went into it and I didn't want to take a lot of time, but I
started going through like grimoire cards.
That is perfectly understandable.
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know what you guys are talking about. It's something about your gear and your guardians.
We're talking about the glory that is achieved by Frederick von Buttface.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
well, here. Currently, my guardian looks terrible. My armor is cobbled together from the strongest pieces I have. I don't have my Dune Marchers, which makes me very sad. And I'm shooting things with guns.
Hawk, what is the most fun item you have obtained so far in the Forsaken?
In Forsaken?
Yeah. Is there a gun that stuck with you or something, or just been going autopilot?
A finished epic.
I've pretty much been autopilot gear-wise.
Oh, okay, so you've just been kind of putting on what's high and stuff?
Yeah,
nothing
I
really
don't
stuck
have
with you?
like the bow's been awesome. I love the bow, but I also love assault rifles and scout rifles. Sorry, auto rifles and scout rifles. So
Fair
it's
enough.
like a balancing act between the three types of weapons I like to use. Whatever is the highest is what gets to go in my hands.
Do you like the new, like, post-apocalyptic, the apocalypse-like auto rifles that you have, from, like, Tangled Shore, the ones that you shoot that fire really fast and it sounds like it's farting?
I want to get that X quote on a soundbite. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what does it sound like? Because it sounds like a weapon for Frederick von Buttface.
I've been using Ether Doctor and it's fun, so that's what.
Either Doctor has been a gun I've grinded for a very long time, and because it's the highest DPS auto rifle. You've accidentally been using the best gun.
Do you want to know something really funny?
Kini sleepwalks through the meta.
Do you want to know something really funny that's gonna make you really mad?
You dismantled it. Yeah, you probably did.
No. I never dismantled it. It's still actually equipped, but I had Ether Doctor before I even hit Forsaken content.
Oh, you're one of those people. Nice.
I had Ether Doctor while I was still running through Osiris and didn't have the proper actual level to use it.
Nice. that didn't really make me that mad
The
because I
first-
didn't know it was good until after Forsaken.
It was literally the first thing that I got when I started playing again.
Nice.
Kini just closed his eyes, put his hands together, and said, "Hail, Uppercliniff Zaplis."
Yeah, I really want that gun.
And the
It has-
Destiny gods granted him Ether Doctor.
It looks really cool. It has a cool name. It sounds cool. It's. I just want it a lot, man. But I've not gotten a single one yet, and let alone one with, like, it's not gonna drop with a good roll first time. That just doesn't happen. So. But I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It's
Yeah.
been fun.
All right. I think we're going to go ahead and end this podcast. It's been a journey. I thank all of you for participating. Eljay had a very well done diatribe, and Kini and X. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Both of you appeal to my Destiny sensibilities in different ways. You're two sides of my coin.
Meanwhile,
wanna
I'm
point
just
out-
here.
I
Pretty
just
much.
want to point out that you said this would go for an hour. And...
How long?
Hour and 40 minutes later.
Yeah.
Oh man, we could have hit the 3-hour mark easily, dude.
We
Not
could have-
with
we-
me, because I would have gone to bed.
We still have barely
Not
talked
if you
about
would be
things.
talking about lore though.
Anyway,
Look. I can talk forever about the lore. We're not gonna. do
Yeah,
that.
right.
I
so
have a piano to build.
Oh.
thank you all very much for joining us for episode 301 of the TTV Podcast. As always, we do our patron shout-outs, and thanks to the reason... Not yet! Just cut the music!
Oh my gosh, dude, come on.
It's gonna be a while. Every week we do our patron shout-outs, and this week we have an influx of new patrons, Destiny players, in fact. So this week's patron shout-out goes to the one, the only, Solaris Magnus, a.k.a. Starparu, one of the founders of IBZP and by extension TTV, who has recently been sucked back into the twisted, tangled world of Destiny thanks to Forsaken actually being good. Hopefully we can have him on a podcast one of these days to talk about his life and stuff and where he is. And also, just because I don't know when this will ever happen again, I'm going to do a second shout-out this week.
Don't do it.
And it's going to be not someone from our patron
I
chat,
knew it.
but a commenter on the YouTube chat
I saw this coming.
by the name of Noraneko Sparks,
Potatoes.
otherwise known...
Potatoes.
Once way back when, many years past, she went by another name, Potu,
No.
who
Potatoes.
used to be a member of our group and was in a lot of our videos, and she's here in the chat. So thanks for listening to this. It's good to see you're still alive after your many departures.
You know what?
So thank you very much.
She also reminded me of something before I played the music. You know, once you're done, Meso.
I'm done. Go on.
Are you done? Can I play the music?
You can play the music.
Okay, I'll play the music. Alright. Let's see what we've got.
Music on the horizon.
Music on the
Go
field.
get them, sister.
I messed
Alright,
with
I
it.
love
thank
that
you.
riff, man.
The Drifter's my new favorite character. Either way, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time for another episode of the TTV Podcast. Farewell.
He's Messanak, I'm Eljay, he's X, and he's Kini. Good job, Messa.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
And I played the wrong music again!
Eljay, why?
You know what? They're both listed as 2018 outro and intro. I'll rename them. I'm sorry, everyone.
How about you fix that?
Sounds like a you problem.
Huh? You're a you problem!
You're right. I am my own worst
Whoa,
enemy.
you-